Hello, I'm alone in Finland. This is EVE Online, and I wanted to show you something about stupid fittings today because this is the epitome, and I managed to find this literally last night just before I went to bed. I was looking because I knew that I had one of these particular cruisers. This is the Stormbringer, and I knew that I had one kicking about, so I searched in my stuff, but I hadn't used this in ages. And the actual name on it at the time was RUM, R-U-M. And I was like, when the hell did I get this? I remember getting it, but I don't remember the fit or anything like that. So I just want to show how effective this thing is right now, because it is insane. As you can see, I've got this, is it Vorteron projector? Yep. So this is actually a faction one, so it's not the highest damage you can get, but it's the most expensive. And now this ship is something that I would use in high sec, just if I'm sort of running between places and I just want a little bit of damage to throw onto these little high sec combat sites. Something I don't really think about. There we go, we have a dread. I'm just going to zoom in. Once I get up to a decent speed, then I'm going to pop him. We are just heading over for his wreck to have a look at what comes up. Nothing shiny. So that is the main focus of this particular ship. Now I am heading to Jita, which is the sketchiest run as I can do in this one. So I will see you there and explain what's going on and why this is a dumbass fit. Right, so we managed to do the sketchy run, only getting targeted once, and I think they were cargo scanning instead of actually scanning my modules, because that is what would have been death for this. So, this particular ship, now on paper, it looks like a fantastic setup. Again, I'm using this for just doing anomalies and sort of cosmic signatures and stuff like this that's been scanned down already. So going through the NPC stuff and going through in high sec, and again on paper this looks fantastic. If we just reload the ammo, so I've got the right stuff. So I normally use this, the electro punch ammo, for absolutely everything, and when we are doing this we are shooting out 300 DPS. However, when you've got the enemies, when you've got your enemies that are in clusters, you have a situation where you can hit 10 enemies at the same time, providing they're within 10 kilometers of each other. And obviously a lot of these spawns come up sort of very close to each other. So although you are actually spending, if I just bring it up here in the cargo, you are spending around about 10,000 per unit for ammo, you can be one-shotting anywhere between 2 to 10 enemies. So per enemy you're putting about 1,000-esque per hit. So you're essentially you're making that money back. You'll lose it on some, you'll gain it on others. It is a higher end of doing this, but killing the enemies when you're doing these anomalies is not what you are actually aiming for. What you're aiming for is the escalations, and then when it comes to the escalations, you are chewing through them and going for the higher value loot. Now if I have it here, we have a fair few things in my cargo, but essentially we have had like for instance this. So we got a couple of the Corpium stuff, we got a Corelli A-type yesterday, and a few other things that I believe I've actually got for sale at the moment. But essentially when I was running through these in general, there's a few, all of these sort of faction modules that you can see, they're not particularly high value always, because I usually sell the high value stuff off. Oh, this was one from yesterday, 77, which is not bad. But these are the things that are sort of, I'm getting from running these different things that are escalating and stuff like this. So you're making money off of the higher value loot that's coming through. Now, that gets us to why this is an awful fit. So, as you can see here, it's a 3.2 billion fit. Now, just for clarification, this was called RUM when I first got to it, and I didn't understand why it was called RUM until I realised I fitted this when I had far too much RUM. And here's the reason why. We have Pythium B-type shield hardeners, so multi-spectrum hardeners. Each of these, there's 2 of them there, each of these is over 600 million a pop. We have a Shadow Serpentis micro warp, which is not an unusual sort of thing to put, 136 million. Our shield booster, if I can just bring that up in the market, our shield booster is nearly 400 million. And then the actual weapon that we are using is 690 million. Now I think I put this on because I didn't have the skills at the time for the Tech 2 variant, but essentially this entire fit, the problem with this particular fit is that if somebody was to kill me, and when you look so when I don't have the invulns on, I've got 14,000 EHP, which means an overheated tornado could take me out in one hit. And bear in mind, I'm going through high sec, so if somebody scans my modules, some of these modules are going to drop, and it's definitely worth, just one of these modules dropping is worth the price of a tornado. A fully fit gank tornado, like the one that I have here, although this is kicking out 720 DPS, it's got a single shot alpha of 1100 without overheating, and if I actually overheat it, oh, we don't actually gain much extra. But this is without any implants, so if you were running something with a clone that's got implants, you're going to be able to up that damage quite a significant bit. So just 5% damage is going to get you a couple of hundred on top of that and get you clear of the particular EHP of this ship. So that's something to look out for, is the fact that you could be ganked by a single tornado. You could also, there could be a case of you have multiple people coming for you. Most high sec ganks involve a couple of people set up at the same time. However, it would take just one tornado with a clone with implants to be able to do this. Remember, the pods are safe, so if you rig for just absolute brutality, this is something that can be popped. And as you can see there, with the actual price of this particular one, 165 million lost for getting a 600 million module. That's definitely a profit increase, and if you get anything more than one module, you've paid for yourself. Even just the Shadow Serpentis dropping would pay for the effort. And you have several things that are worth a chunk more than that. So that's why this is a particularly bad fit, because it looks good, it looks nice and tanky, but until you actually, if you make the mistake of not running with your hardeners on, or somebody gets a shot off before you've turned your hardeners on, you can be vapor in seconds. And there's a good reason to do it. There's that incentive to absolutely muller you. Whereas, if you are to swap this over to something else, like this one, so all I did last night was I went and had a look and swapped some stuff over for from the one that I'm running already. Let me just double check. So we're still using the same mods, I'm still using the same base ship, and all I have done is just swapped over so that I'm using multi-spectrum hardeners. I'm still using the Republic Fleet Cap battery because I get so many of them I can justify the loss. I've still got the Pythium A-type medium shield hardener on it, which still makes it a bit of a target, but the chances for one versus multiple modules that are worth hundreds of millions, that is a good trade-off. To be honest, I would probably bring this down in price. I can't remember what the actual price of those are. But I would probably bring that down a little bit and use something else that is a little less effective, because where I'm using this ship, I don't need that level of rep. I've just come all the way back up, and I've been jumping into sites all the way back up, and I never once turned on the actual shield hardener because of how effective the guns are on this. But on top of this, as you see, this Tech 2 medium Voltron projector actually gives us more DPS than the faction variant, but it's a hell of a lot cheaper. It's a third of the price, so it saves us a lot. And you can see we have brought down a 2.3 billion ship down to 1.3 billion, or 3.2 billion down to 1.3 billion. So we have saved 1.9 billion in price, which I can sell off and pay for other ships. I had no idea I had fitted this. This is just something that was insanely daft to me, and I was genuinely worried bringing this all the way back to Jita to get some things out there and sort of smooth it out. but that is a good example of when it looks fantastic on paper, but it's just something you haven't considered, and even experienced players will do this, especially when there's rum involved. So I thought I wanted to put that out there and show exactly how we can all make little mistakes like that because we haven't considered something. So that's the video. I hope that was interesting, and some of the stupidity that I came across and why rum is a fantastic drink. So fly safe, see you next time.